Okay, welcome to my video demonstration on drawing circles, ellipses, columns, and cones in 1, 2, and 3-point perspective. So, in order to do this accurately, you need to have some familiarity with how to divide a plane. This is something that I cover in my intro courses in a few different ways. When I talk about the armature of the rectangle, and typically go over it in my 1-point perspective lesson when we're talking about drawing interior scenes in 1-point perspective. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to start by drawing a square. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, like this. Here we go. So for this exercise, all I'm using is my mechanical HB pencil, my clear plastic ruler, and inevitably I will need an eraser at some point. I like, again, these white plastic erasers. Okay, so what we're going to start doing is dividing this plane, this very special rectangle with equal sides, we call a square. And we're going to start by connecting our corners here. All right, so when you connect these corners, where they intersect is the middle of this plane. So this is the dead center. That's the way you can find the middle of any rectangle, is by connecting the corners, and where they intersect, you have that. You have the center. So now I'm going to draw a line going up and through, and these two lines are going to divide the plane into 4 different sections, quadrants. So kind of looks a little bit like a hashtag there. No, the hashtag's the other. No, this is a star. This is a star. All right, not a hashtag. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to begin to connect these corners here. All right. And what I'm going to do when I do that is I am going to find the center of these planes. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm finding the center of these quarters here. So for those of you familiar with the armature of the rectangle, this is beginning to look pretty familiar. We're not going to go all the way to connect all of these different points to complete the armature. What we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and mark off some points as references for our circle. So this is the shape that we're going to use to draw the circle into, just to kind of give us an idea of how the circle exists within a plane before we skew it. So we're going to skew it next. We're going to add those elements of linear perspective. So this is about halfway through these lines here. So I've divided divided this again here. And now we're going to use those as reference points for our circles. So much of this you're going to be erasing. This is difficult to do from a fixed position, and what I mean by that is it's difficult to draw a circle when I can't like move the whole sketchbook around, because your wrist it bends in certain ways, and so it really likes these curves, but these become whole arm motions, whereas this is a wrist motion. So there we go. So we have our circle. You see where it intersects here within that plane. Okay, intersects these points. All right. So we know where the circle's supposed to line up. Now let's go ahead and put this in 1 point perspective. So let's see. I'm going to go ahead and use this as my vanishing point, not because there's anything particularly special about the relationship here, but it's just convenient. Helps me save room. So and then let's see, we came over here. Let's see that. Okay, so now I've drawn a plane in 1 point perspective. So you can see if I were to extend these shapes, these lines all the way, they would be convergent on this vanishing point. Okay, so we know where the circle's supposed to line up now within these different sections of the plane. So what we can do is we can begin to rebuild this armature within the plane. So we know what points our circle needs to intersect. A little off. Let's see. There we go. Don't rush yourself. Okay, so now we have this asterisk, not a hashtag, asterisk. Shape. And then we're going to kind of complete this diamond pattern within it. Again, I'm just connecting these points here. Like so. Okay. And then again, we know that the circle intersects about halfway here. So you can eye that halfway point if you're comfortable with that. You could also, further subdivide these areas. Like so, to give you your reference points. So I just completed that pattern again. It's almost like a fractal. I can keep completing the same shape in the smaller and smaller area. It is a fractal, actually. But I think eyeing is just fine at this point. So now I'm going to, again, begin to connect these points. See, my wrist didn't want to bend that way, so I've got to do a lot of contorting here. Okay. And now we have our ellipse in 1 point perspective, like so. You can find this material also in Juliet Aristides' Beginning Drawing Atelier. I am a big fan of all her textbooks. I have read almost all of them. I haven't read all the figure drawing ones. And she has a chapter here on volume where she begins to talk a little bit about building volume in shapes and touches on perspective, but doesn't really go into it. So it's a great primary reader for just so many aspects of observational drawing. Very well written. All right, so I'm looking at my timer here, and I can see I only have about 2 minutes left before I run out of time. So I'm going to go ahead and stop this video here with this circle within the square translating to a one-dimensional form here. And then I'm going to go ahead and draw a column right here. I'm going to take a picture of that and I'll post it, because basically all we're going to do with the column is we're also going to draw another shape here, another parallelogram above the vanishing point, and then connect the line. So it's basically just doing this inverted over the vanishing point, and then finding and then just connecting the sides. So I'm going to go ahead and stop the video, and I'm going to draw this right here and take a picture of it.